From New York to Savannah, Georgia isn't usually difficult, but in the new romantic comedy, Forces of Nature, a young man named Ben encounters all kinds of obstacles. The biggest, a woman named Sarah, played by Sandra Bullock.
My God, that's Ben! What? Oh, Ben, I love you. Call me.
Hi, honey. Yeah, I'm fine. No,
You are a god. Who's that?
Just one of the other passengers from the flight. No, nothing's wrong.
You saved my life.
Tell you what, I'll get a rental car.
No cars.
You should have called as soon as you got off the plane.
Oh, why didn't I think of that when I was unconscious and bleeding from the head?
Sandra Bullock, great to see you. Welcome back.
Good to see you.
As I said, the romantic comedy.
Yeah.
But people should not assume that you play a character like some of the characters you played in other romantic comedies.
Yeah, there should be a warning on the label of this film. Yeah, that's the reason I didn't do them for a while. I mean, not the traditional, because they just sort of became very cookie cutter, for me at least. And everything that I was getting was exactly like what I'd done before. This is a very non-traditional romantic comedy.
Sarah is, in high school we used to have an expression, she lacks that little 7-second delay.
She does,
that most of us have that kind of prevents us from embarrassing ourselves and the people around us.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that.
She doesn't have, I actually am drawn to people like that in life, just because they force you out of your own sort of really safe reality. It makes you, you know, it's nice to push the envelope. She just kind of forgets to look at the repercussions, and she does a lot of damage.
And does some zany things, spontaneous things, but what we find out in the movie is that a lot of this is really a way that she hides other things.
Yeah, she's stemming from a place of extreme insecurity and pain. I mean, as I think everyone is, and they deal with it either with humor or with keeping people at a distance. She sort of causes chaos in order to keep things moving around her, so she's always dealing with something, and if things ever were quiet, she'd have to really deal with, you know, the repercussions of what she's done.
Probably not the best movie for people to see on the eve of their wedding. Okay?
Well, if you think, maybe not the eve, but maybe like the week before.
And explain why, because Ben Affleck in this is on the plane going to get married.
The film is about a man who's on his way to his wedding, and he seems to do nothing but encounter people who are giving him the negative side of marriage, you know, the don'ts of marriage, the hells of marriage.
Worst decision you'll ever make.
Exactly. And the woman he's getting ready to marry is an amazing woman, but he meets this other catastrophe, which sort of shows him the side of his life that he hasn't quite explored yet, and he's wondering if maybe this is the way that he should go. So he's literally split between these two women. All the questions that come up with his families inside of his head, with his fiancée, with this woman who I play, are all very valid. You know, I think we show film so many times in movies that make marriage so, what it's not, you know, easy. And we make it really easy and beautiful, and I mean, that's why I'm so deathly afraid of it, because it's not easy, you know, but I'd like to do it for the right reasons, as, you know, I'm sure.
The headline to come out of the interview, Sandra Bullock, deathly afraid of marriage, on all the tabloids tomorrow. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, no problem.
All right, Ben and you, Sarah, couldn't be more opposite.
Yeah.
And we have a scene from the movie where you two are strapped for cash, a little bit of an emergency. This shows how different you are. Good.
I was wondering if y'all had any entertainment.
We got a pool table out back.
What would you say to somebody dancing on it? For a set price of, I don't know, $150? Can guarantee you a really good show.
150 seems like a lot of money. What? Look at her. I am looking at her. I'm not interested. How much for you to dance? Excuse me?
I think this is one of these places where everyone would much rather see you dance than see me dance.
Get your hands off of my man. Get your hands off of my man. Get your hands off of my man. It's not funny. You know, I don't even like to be naked at home in my shower.
So it was okay for me a minute ago.
Well, it's on your resume. You know what I mean? If you want me to blurb you a novel, I can do that.
So much for power and control, big guy. Get up there.
All right, I'm sorry.
And the rest will not be shown to our family audience. I said earlier, this is not the most likable character in totality.
Yeah.
Have you become braver in taking on roles like this? I mean, 5 years ago, would you have taken this role?
Well, 5 years I would never have been offered this role. This was something that just sort of came across my path unexpectedly, and I would never have been given the opportunity to do something like this. And I got lucky. And I literally had to go back to the people who gave it to me and say, are you sure this is what you want me to do?
But there's also been a thing in your career where people love you in these romantic comedies, and they go, well, that's what we want to see you do. And you've had to kind of learn to say no to some people, haven't you?
I mean, it's not that I'm saying no to a certain likability. I mean, there's just certain aspects of myself which I think will always come across, no matter how diverse I get. I think as long as the character redeems themselves, and there's a great sense of humor along with this person. She knows she messes up. She admits it. She does something good by the end. So I think as long as you do that, you're okay. I think I'll be okay. Who knows?
You've taken some pretty strong steps to eliminate the Hollywood type of lifestyle. You're living in Austin, Texas, moving part of your production company down there. Is there any fear in your mind, Sandra, that if you shy away from Hollywood, Hollywood will shy away from you?
You know what? It shied away from me the first time one of my films bombed. It really did.
That's fickle.
And it was actually a comfort, because I'm not very comfortable in things that I can't control, which a success is. It didn't make any sense to me. And once, my films didn't do well, I had a couple that weren't, that successful. It was almost as though the pressure was off, and there was a huge sense of relief. And I felt myself changing, too, in sort of, LA's a great place to work. I love what it has, and I love going back to it now, and I can appreciate it. But it just started changing me in a way that I just really didn't appreciate.
You're happier now.
Yeah.
This movie's called Forces of Nature. It's always good to have you here.
Thanks.
Come back
Thanks
soon.
for having me. I will.
7:50. We're back in a moment. This is Today on NBC.